I know I went to the grocery store not so long ago, and I just so happened to pick up my phone, right, just to look at it, and the time said 11:11. I was like, okay, 11:11. And I know what that means, but I just said, you know what? I'm gonna ask this cashier real quick, what does this mean to her? So I turned around my phone. I said, you see what time it is? And she said, yeah, it's 11:11. I said, does that mean anything to you? She was like, nah, that doesn't mean anything to me. And you know, for me, I know that making a wish is pushing your manifestation farther away, and you know, hoping for something is pushing it into the future that may not ever come. But I was just talking to a casual. I said, you know, that's the time when you're supposed to make a wish, you know. And I asked her, I said, if you had to make a wish right now for anything in your life right now, what would it be? And she went like this and said, she thought about it for a second, and then she said, for the health of me and my family. And then I said, oh, that's really great. And then I looked at her and said, is you and your family, are you all already healthy? She said, yeah. I said, is anything wrong with anybody? She said, no, we're all healthy. I said, well, you already got that. You already got that wish. That wish is already yours. God gave you that no matter what, right? So I said, why wouldn't you want to wish for financial freedom, millions of dollars to be in your life right now? And then she looked and thought for a second, and she said, money isn't everything. You know, money can't buy me happiness. But then I just thought about it. I said, okay, all right, I understand, ma'am. And I said, well, thanks a lot. And I'll talk to you later. So I left up out of there. And then I thought to myself, man, these are programs that somebody programmed into her. Now, I'm not saying money will bring happiness, because if you're already a happy person, money is going to amplify your situation. That's all it's going to do.